Very unexpected news. Loudly crying face. The painful secret of BTS Jimin. Loudly crying face. The heartbreaking truth behind his smile. In the blinding glare of the stadium lights, Jimin moves with a grace that defies gravity. To the millions watching him, he appears ethereal, a figure composed of elegance and effortless talent. He is often called a performing artist who transcends the boundaries of gender and genre, a vocalist with a tone as sharp and clear as glass. But behind the fluid movements and the angelic smile, there lies a history written in sweat, tears, and a terrifying silence. The story of Park Jimin is not a fairy tale of instant stardom. It is a brutal human narrative of a boy who was constantly told he wasn't enough, and the man who nearly destroyed himself trying to prove them wrong. To truly understand Jimin, one must look back to the streets of Busan. Before the fame, he was a top student at the Busan High School of Arts, excelling in modern dance. He was a teacher's favorite, a young prodigy who moved with emotion and technique. But when he decided to pursue the path of a K-pop idol, he left that comfortable world behind to enter the ruthless environment of a training dormitory in Seoul. He was the last member to join the group that would become BTS, and his training period was the shortest. While this sounds like luck, it was actually a curse. He was thrown into a shark tank with barely any time to learn how to swim. According to various media reports and BTS's own documentaries, Jimin's early days in Seoul were defined by a paralyzing fear of rejection. He was not a rapper, and his style of dance was too soft, too fluid for the sharp, aggressive hip-hop style the company wanted. He was an outsider in his own team. In a confession that shocked fans years later, Jimin revealed on the show Please Take Care of My Refrigerator and in the Burn the Stage documentary that he was almost kicked out of the group 8 times. 8 times. Imagine the psychological torture of waking up every single day, looking at the door, and wondering if today was the day you would be sent home. He lived on the edge of elimination, sleeping in the practice room because he felt he didn't deserve to rest. This fear birthed a level of perfectionism that bordered on self-destruction. During the debut era, while other teenagers were dreaming of dates and video games, Jimin was fighting a war against his own body and image. He felt he had to be perfect to justify his existence in the group. This internal battle turned physical during the blood, sweat and tears era. In the Wings concept book interview, Jimin admitted to following an extreme diet that caused him to pass out during dance rehearsals. He starved himself because he believed his value was tied to his appearance. He was seeking validation in the mirror, but the mirror was never satisfied. It was a dark, lonely period where the applause of the crowd could not silence the critical voice in his head telling him he needed to be thinner, sharper, better. The song Lie, his solo track from 2016, serves as a haunting window into this mindset. The lyrics speak of being caught in a lie, of losing one's true self, and pleading to be saved. It was not just a performance. It was a cry for help. He was trapped in a persona of perfection, terrified that if he showed his cracks, the world would turn away. During the Burn the Stage series, cameras caught Jimin crying backstage because his voice cracked slightly during a performance, a mistake no one in the audience even noticed. To the world, he was magnificent. To himself, he was failing. This disconnect between reality and his own perception was a heavy cross to bear. However, the most remarkable part of Jimin's story is not his suffering, but his capacity for love amidst that suffering. While he was harsh on himself, he became the emotional sanctuary for everyone else. Fans and members alike have documented countless moments where Jimin is the first to run to a crying member. When RM struggled with leadership, Jimin was there. When Taehyung wept for his grandmother, Jimin held him. He became the fairy of the group, the one who absorbed the pain of others. It is a heartbreaking paradox. The person who struggled most to love himself was the one who poured the most love into others. As BTS reached the pinnacle of global success, the demons did not disappear. they simply changed form. In 2020 and 2021, during the global pandemic, Jimin confessed on Weverse and in interviews to feeling a deep sense of stagnation and depression. The concert stopped, and without the stage, he felt he had lost his purpose. He questioned who he was without the applause. In a tearful confession during the Map of the Soul on concert, he asked why he had to go through this, expressing a raw frustration that resonated with millions. It showed that money and #1 records cannot cure the human need for connection and purpose. Yet, from this abyss, a new Jimin began to emerge. The release of his solo album Face in 2023 was a declaration of survival, with the track Like Crazy reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making him the first South Korean soloist to achieve this feat according to verified charts. Jimin finally found his own footing. But the achievement was not just about the ranking. It was about the music itself. The album explored themes of loneliness, intoxication, and the search for self. He was no longer hiding behind the perfect image. He was singing about his flaws, his drinking, his nights of solitude. He was finally accepting the man in the mirror. When the time came for his military enlistment in December 2023, Jimin approached it with a quiet dignity. He chose to enlist as a companion soldier alongside Jungkook, a decision that speaks volumes about his nature. Even in facing the harsh reality of military service, he did not want to be alone, nor did he want his brother to be alone. In his final live stream before leaving, he did not cry. He smiled, rubbed his shaved head, and told the fans he would return. It was a moment of brave vulnerability. The boy who was once terrified of being kicked out was now walking away voluntarily, confident that his place would still be there when he returned. People love Park Jimin not because he is a perfect idol. They love him because he is a fragility that survived. They love him because he showed us that you can be soft and strong at the same time. He taught us that hard work can outlast talent, but self-love is the hardest work of all. He is the artist who falls on stage only to turn the fall into a dance move, making the mistake look like a masterpiece. As we look at the empty stage he left behind for a while, we do not feel an empty silence. We feel a heavy, respectful silence. It is the silence of watching a bird fly into a storm and knowing it will make it to the other side. We realize now that his smile was never effortless. It was earned. Every high note was a battle won, and every dance step was a fear conquered. And so, we wait. Not for the idol but for the man. The man who learned that he does not need to be perfect to be loved. The man who learned that he is not a lie, but a beautiful, complex truth. As the screen fades to black, we are left with a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the pain he endured to bring us joy, and respect for the quiet, steel-like strength of Park Jimin.